Okay, let's be real for a second. If your idea of a marketing strategy is logging into an ad platform and just checking a few basic demographic boxes, like, say, women aged 30 to 45 living in urban Canada who like technology, you aren't really executing a strategy. You are playing a very, very expensive guessing game. And in today's ultra competitive landscape, relying on those basic assumptions means you're literally leaving incredible amounts of money and opportunity right on the table.
It is so incredibly easy to just assume that defining your audience's age and location is enough to drive sales. But there's a fatal flaw with that approach, and it's something we say a lot. Vague audiences create vague content, and vague content destroys conversion rates. True strategic targeting isn't just some administrative checkbox on an ad platform. It is absolutely crucial. It's a vital pillar of your overall strategic intelligence.
And we actually have the data to prove just how much this matters. Organizations that move beyond those default platform settings and actually use multi-source behavioral research, they're seeing a massive 30 to 40% higher campaign efficiency. To put that into perspective, that is not just some marginal advantage. That's the difference between a campaign that generates serious, positive ROI and one that simply drains your entire budget. Targeting is the strategy itself, not an afterthought. So, to help you capture that kind of efficiency, in this explainer, we're going to break down a specific three-part framework. First, we'll look at the core transformation. Second, deep dive psychographics. And third, behavioral alignment and triggers. All right, let's jump straight into part one, the core transformation.
Before you can possibly target the right people, you have to truly understand the underlying problem you solve. Let's use Shopify as our blueprint here. On the surface, sure, they sell e-commerce software, digital shopping carts, and cloud hosting. But think about it. If they only marketed those specific features, they'd just be another boring software vendor. What they are actually selling, their true strategic transformation, is entrepreneurial independence. They're selling a massive reduction in technical friction. They are literally selling the deep psychological relief of being able to scale your business without drowning in code.
Because they understand that core transformation deep down, Shopify doesn't just aim its marketing at some generic bucket called small business owners. Instead, they build everything around three core brand values: simplicity, autonomy, and merchant empowerment. By anchoring to those specific values, Shopify dictates the exact tone, the vocabulary, and the entire visual vibe of every single piece of ad copy and user interface they create. Everything aligns perfectly with the transformation they promise. So, you've got to ask yourself, is your marketing actually dictating a specific feeling, or are you just reading off a list of features? Which brings us right to part two, deep dive psychographics. This is where we transition from basic demographics, which is basically just who people are on paper, to psychographics, which is what they actually value, what they desire, and what they deeply fear. To do this, you have to go into full-on detective mode. No more guessing. You must hunt for repetitive pain points in community hubs like Reddit, Quora, or specialized tech forums. Listen to the exact words your potential users say when they're frustrated. Or, if you want to scale this, leverage AI tools like Google Gemini. Feed it a super precise prompt about your business and ask it to uncover those hidden anxieties and motivations driving your ideal user. Let's look at how wildly different this is in practice. A surface-level demographic profile just sees a retail owner in Toronto making 80,000 Canadian dollars who is kind of tech-friendly. It's dry, it's flat, right? But the psychographic deep dive reveals that this exact same person is secretly terrified of missing out on global expansion because of technical hurdles. Their core desire is to win back control over their direct-to-consumer data so they aren't held hostage by massive third-party marketplaces. When your marketing speaks directly to those specific fears and desires, it completely changes the game. It stops being an annoying ad disruption and instantly becomes a welcomed lifeline. Now let's tie it all together in part three, behavioral alignment and triggers. Look, knowing your audience's psychology is fantastic, but honestly, it is totally useless if you don't know when they are actually psychologically primed to buy. People don't just wake up on a random Tuesday and decide to buy enterprise software. There is always a trigger event. Going back to Shopify, maybe it's a boutique owner in Montreal who suddenly hits a brick wall and realizes their physical store footprint is capping their growth. Or it's a creator whose social traffic just unexpectedly exploded, but they have zero way to monetize it directly. That specific psychological state, the intense pain of physical limits or missed opportunities, is exactly when you must deliver a highly contextual ad, offering your solution as the immediate fix. But to deliver that message at the perfect moment, you have to actually discover where your audience gathers when they experience these triggers.
You've got to dive into your analytics and monitor competitor behavior. Think about it. Are your ideal customers currently stressing out and analyzing growth strategies over on LinkedIn? Are they hunting for visual brand aesthetics on Instagram? Or are they literally pulling their hair out troubleshooting code on GitHub? You must align your message exactly with the specific channels and behavioral moments where your audience is already active.
So to wrap this explainer up, I really want to emphasize this core philosophy. You have to start treating audience targeting as a true pillar of strategic intelligence. If you want to stop shouting your message into the digital void, you have to move past those simple platform defaults. Take the time to map out your audience's deep values, their actual real-world behavioral triggers, and their technographics into one central living segmentation document. Start speaking your audience's exact emotional language. Before you even open your ad manager to launch your next campaign, I want you to run your strategy through this single filtering question. Let's call it the coffee shop test. Picture this. If your ideal customer overheard your marketing message being spoken by two people at the table next to them in a coffee shop, would they physically lean in closer because it speaks exactly to their current burning problem, or would they completely tune it out? Think really deeply about that. And hey, before you go, drop a comment below describing the true core transformation your brand actually sells. Catch you next time.